Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a really unique way of looking at the Lenten journey. It's an approach that starts with a powerful paradox, an invitation to find sparks, even in the dark. Right off the bat, we're hit with this incredible metaphor, a double threshold of fire and ash. It really makes you stop and think, how can we possibly hold both of those things, an ending and a new beginning, at the exact same time? Let's unpack that. So, what does it actually mean to stand at this double threshold? We're going to break down these two huge symbols, fire and, of course, ash. And here you can see that beautiful balance. On one hand, you've got ash. It grounds us. It's the honest truth about our limits and the things in our lives that have come to an end. But then there's fire. It reminds us that we're animated by something bigger, that there's this whisper that an end is not the end.
And this is the key right here. This journey isn't about picking one. You don't choose hope over reality or passion over humility. The whole point is to stand right in the middle, holding both.
Now, this whole approach really challenges the way a lot of us might have been taught to think about Lent. It's about seeing it as so much more than a season just defined by ash. I mean, for so many of us, the season of Lent brings to mind that very solemn feeling, right? Repentance, humility, that classic dust-to-dust idea that acknowledges our own mortality. But a few years back, this really unique convergence happened that pointed to something more. The Lunar New Year of the Fire Horse, which is a pretty rare event, started just one day before Ash Wednesday. It was like this cosmic signal of the dual theme, fire and ash, standing side by side.
So, when we talk about fire in this context, it is so important to get specific about what kind of fire we actually mean, because it's probably not what you're thinking.
First off, this is not a destructive, out-of-control blaze. It's not that frantic, anxious energy that just burns you out. And it's definitely not our own ambition or passion dressed up to look like some kind of higher calling. Nope, it's something much deeper. In the New Testament, there's actually a word for this, dunamis. It's this idea of the living, breathing energy of God. It's the force that can raise what was dead. That's the fire we're talking about, the resurrection fire, the quiet, unquenchable glow of Christ risen. I love this quote because it just flips the whole thing on its head. Suddenly, the ash isn't just a symbol of our end, it's a powerful reminder of our beginning. It's the very stuff that God first breathed life into. Okay, so this dynamis power sounds pretty incredible, right? But how in the world do we access it? Well, it's not about trying harder or pushing more. It's a much gentler, more intentional process.
And here it is, the central idea. This power isn't found in our own effort. It's not something we achieve. It's something we receive when we take the posture of returning.
This path of returning is really threefold. First, it's returning to a place of loving embrace. Then, it's about reconnecting or abiding in the true vine. And finally, it's about going all the way back, upstream, to the very source of life itself.
All right, so we've talked through the big concepts. Now let's get practical and look at how this whole idea actually unfolds as a shared, guided experience over 7 weeks.
You can see how it builds. It all starts at that threshold of fire and ash. From there, it moves into honestly naming what has ended in our lives, which leads to turning back towards a place of healing, of embrace. The final weeks are all about abiding, returning to the source, and it all culminates in that final week of resurrection.
Okay, so for anyone who feels a little tug, a little spark, and wants to participate, the first gathering for this shared journey is set for February 28th, 2026.
That session will run for an hour, from 9 to 10 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And it's all online, which is great. It makes it super accessible for anyone who wants to join in, from anywhere, using Zoom. And when you register, you don't just get the links for the live gatherings, you get this whole support system. Weekly reflection prompts, some really cool creative practices, journaling invitations, and maybe best of all, a whole community of people to journey with. The invitation itself is so simple and welcoming. There are no prerequisites. You don't need a spiritual resume. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just come exactly as you are. No performance necessary. So I guess the final question is really for you to reflect on. If you're feeling tired or restless, or you're just carrying around the remains of things that have burned out, but you still feel a tiny something stirring, a little spark in the dark, maybe this is your invitation. Maybe it's time to return. Because this journey welcomes all of you. Your restless energy, your quiet longings, your triumphs, your grief. Bring your fire and bring your ash.